Good afternoon. This is Greg with the National Weather Service in Spokane. It's time for our weekly weather briefing. It's Monday, September 10th, and here we go. We're going to talk about the weather that we've had the weather we're going to expect for the next week or so. The weather briefing points that we have. We're going to talk about our much improved air quality. We're going to talk about a cooler and showery pattern that's coming up. Also, we're going to talk about favorable conditions for fire containment. Our fire crews around the region are going to be dealing with some good weather for getting these fires under control over the next week or so. So I want to stress, after such a long fire and smoke season, that I have some good news to share with you for a change, and I'm happy to bring it to you. So we're going to talk about having a happy briefing today. Our air quality sensors throughout the region have improved, and most of them are in the green. We've had cooler weather and higher humidities over the last several days, and a few spots have received some rainfall. The rain has been widespread over western Washington the last few days. It's been a little more hit and miss east of the Cascades, but we're going to talk about bringing some moisture into the region over the next week or so, so that should be good news for our air quality as well. Where are our fires? Well, this is a satellite-derived technique for finding fires across the region. And looking at these dots, most of them are yellow, meaning that those are hot spots that have been detected within the last 6 days, but these hot spots are generally older than the last 24 hours. So a lot of the fires that have been burning actively over the last week have either slowed or not showing much activity over the last 24 hours, which is good news. And that's because of the higher humidities and the cooler temperatures we've had over the region. What I have for even better news is that for the next several days, we're looking at decent chances for showers. The darker green is over the western side of the state, and we're going to see numerous showers in the Tuesday through Saturday time frame. Those guys are going to get wet, and they're all going to get wet. The lighter green color over the Cascades, northeast Washington, and the Idaho Panhandle, we're going to be talking about more scattered type showers. Chances each day would maybe be in the 30 to 40% range, but I think over the accumulation of the next 4 to 5 days, most of the areas that are in the lighter green shading there will get at least some rainfall. And that includes a lot of our active and bigger fires along the east slopes of the Cascades. One not so good point to bring up here is that the Columbia Basin and the Palouse are probably going to stay pretty dry through this next week or so. A lot of the precipitation is going to be orographically influenced or generated over the mountains. So while our fuels in the mountainous areas should be moistening, we're not going to see huge improvements across the lowlands of central Washington and into the Palouse. Here's our 7-day outlook, and this is for Spokane. Today has been breezy, but as far as the rest of the week and into the weekend, our winds are going to come down quite a bit, typically in the 5 to 10 mile per hour range, with the winds peaking in the afternoon. We're also looking at temperatures being considerably cooler than average. For mid-September, the average high in Spokane is about 75, and we're looking closer to 80 degrees for averages in Wenatchee and Lewiston. And we're going to be a solid 5 to 8 degrees cooler than normal for most of the week. We're also going to continue to have higher humidity around with those showers that I mentioned before. This is going to be a good weather pattern for fire crews to try to gain containment on a lot of these larger fires that we're dealing with in the Cascades. And into the 8 to 14 day outlook, this takes us all the way to September 24th here. We don't see any great big warm-up. It doesn't look particularly favorable for a lot of precipitation next week, but we're not looking for much above average temperatures either. So this is all good news for trying to put this fire season to bed. But again, the Columbia Basin, Palouse, and a lot of our open wheat country is going to remain dry, so our grass fire season will continue probably through the end of the month. So in summary, our weather conditions are going to be favorable for containing these fires, which is good news. I don't see any weather scenario that's going to bring air quality levels back down. It looks like we'll have green air quality around most of the region for the next week or so. As far as rain showers go, we have pretty good chances for the Cascade fires to get some rain over the next 4 or 5 days, as well as the mountains of the Idaho Panhandle and northeast Washington. They should have good chances of getting some measurable rains there too. Unfortunately for the Columbia Basin, our chances don't look overly positive at this point in time. So we'll go ahead and conclude this briefing and stay informed and happy. We've got some better news for a change.